History of the University of Maryland, College Park. The history of the University of Maryland, College Park began in 1856 when the Maryland Agricultural College was chartered. The state took complete control of the school in 1916, and consequently the institution was renamed Maryland State College. In a massive 1988 restructuring of the state higher education system, the school was designated as the flagship campus of the newly formed University of Maryland system and was formally named University of Maryland, College Park. Early history. On March 6, 1856, the forerunner of today's University of Maryland was chartered as the Maryland Agricultural College. 2 years later, Charles Benedict Calvert, a slave owner descendant of the barons Baltimore, fervent believer in agricultural education, and a future U.S. congressman, purchased 420 acres 1.7 km2 of the Riversdale plantation in College Park for $21,000. Calvert founded the school later that year with money earned by the sale of stock certificates. On October 5, 1859, the first 34 students entered the Maryland Agricultural College, including 4 of Charles Calvert's sons, George, Charles, William, and Eugene. The keynote speaker on opening day was Joseph Henry, the first secretary of the Smithsonian Institution. In July 1862, the same month that the Maryland Agricultural College awarded its first degrees, President Lincoln signed the Morrill Land Grant Act. The legislation provided federal funds to schools that taught agriculture or engineering, or provided military training. Taking advantage of the opportunity, the school became a land-grant college in February 1864 after the Maryland legislature voted to approve the Morrill Act. Civil War. A few months after accepting the grant, the Maryland Agricultural College proved to be an important site in the Civil War. In April 1864, General Ambrose E. Burnside and 6,000 soldiers of the Union's 9th Army Corps camped on the Amacy campus. The troops were en route to reinforce General Ulysses S. Grant's forces in Virginia. Later that summer, around 400 Confederate soldiers led by General Bradley T. Johnson stayed on the grounds while preparing to take part in a raid against Washington. A local legend claims that soldiers were warmly welcomed by University President Henry Onderdonk, a Confederate sympathizer, and that the cavalrymen were thrown a party on the campus nicknamed the Old South Ball. The next morning the soldiers rode off to cut the lines of communication between Washington and Baltimore. Financial problems forced the increasingly desperate administrators to sell off 200 acres 81 ha of land, and the continuing decline in student enrollment sent the Maryland Agricultural College into bankruptcy. For the next 2 years, the campus was used as a boys' preparatory school. Following the Civil War, the Maryland legislature pulled the college out of bankruptcy, and in February 1866 assumed half ownership of the school. The college thus became in part a state institution. George Washington Custis Lee, son of Confederate General Robert E. Lee, was appointed president of the college by the Board of Trustees, but due to public outcry declined the position. By October 1867, the school reopened with 11 students. In the next 6 years, enrollment continued to grow, and the school's debt was finally paid off. 20 years later, the school's reputation as a research institution began as the federally funded Agricultural Experiment Station was established there. During the same period, a number of state laws granted the college regulatory powers in several areas, including controlling farm disease, inspecting feed, establishing a state weather bureau and geological survey, and housing the Board of Forestry. In 1888, the college began its first official intercollegiate baseball games against rivals St. John's College and the United States Naval Academy. Baseball, however, had been played at the college for decades before the first official games were recorded. The first fraternity chapter at Maryland, the Eta chapter of Phi Sigma Kappa, was established in 1897, and Morrill Hall, the oldest instructional building still in use on campus, was built the following year. The Great Fire of 1912. On November 29, 1912, around 10:30 p.m., a fire, probably due to faulty electric wiring, broke out in the attic of the newest administration building, where a Thanksgiving dance was being held. The approximately 80 students on the premises evacuated themselves safely and then formed a makeshift bucket brigade. The fire departments summoned from nearby Hyattsville and Washington, D.C. arrived too late. Fanned by a strong southwest wind, the fire destroyed the barracks where the students were housed, all the school's records, and most of the academic buildings, leaving only Morrill Hall untouched. The loss was estimated at $250,000, about $5.08 million in 2012 US dollars, despite no injuries or fatalities. The devastation was so great that many never expected the university to reopen. University President Richard Sylvester resigned, broken-hearted. However, the students refused to give up. All but two returned to the university after the break and insisted on classes continuing as usual. Students were housed by families in neighboring towns who were compensated by the university until housing could be rebuilt, although a new administration building was not built until the 1940s. A large brick and concrete compass inlaid in the ground designates the former center of campus as it existed in 1912. Lines engraved in the compass point to each building that was destroyed in the Thanksgiving Day fire. The intersection of the lines on the compass are known as the point of failure. A well-known legend holds that any student who walks upon the point of failure will not graduate from the University of Maryland in 4 years. Modern history. 21st century. On September 24, 2001, a tornado struck the College Park campus, killing 2 female students and causing $15 million in damage to 12 buildings. That same year brought the opening of the Clarice Smith Performing Arts Center, the largest single building ever constructed by the state of Maryland, which replaced Tow's Theater as the premier fine arts center on campus. In 2004, the university began constructing the 150-acre 61-ha Square Research Park, which is the largest research park inside the Capital Beltway and includes facilities affiliated with the U.S. Department of Defense, Food and Drug Administration, and the new National Center for Weather and Climate Prediction. Affiliated, the university launched its 7-year campaign to raise $1 billion via private donations, called Great Expectations, in 2006. The university published a new 10-year strategic plan in 2008, which includes plans for the East Campus redevelopment project, which would bring, among other things, on-campus graduate student housing and a state-of-the-art music and entertainment center to campus. In May 2010, ground was broken on a new $128 million, 158,068 square foot, 14,685.0 m2 physical science complex, including an IRA-funded advanced quantum science laboratory, which the university hopes will be the premier facility for such research in the world. The university's administration has recently become embroiled in the debate over the construction of a light rail line through campus, which would give the university another link to the Washington metro system. On August 16, 2010, Wallace Lowe, the provost of the University of Iowa, was named president of the university effective November 1. References ==